Fintech Australia and Tier 1 People present the 2022 People's Choice Awards. The Finnies Award, where the Australian fintech community gets to decide the winner. Make sure to join us on the 23rd of June 2022 in Melbourne for the industry's most prestigious awards event. Now, here are a few words from one of this year's finalists.
Hi everyone, I'm Lili Sussman from Wisr, and I'm super pumped to be here today. I wanted to share a little bit about why Wisr is a purpose-led company and what it means to us, and really tell you a little bit about what's under the hood about being inside a purpose-led company in fintech.
Wisr are finalists in the People's Choice Award for Fintech Organisation of the Year. Well, Lili, congrats and well done to everybody at Wisr for making it to this year's People's Choice Finals, the awards that the fintech community gets to decide. How's everybody feeling at Wisr?
We're really excited. We love being part of the fintech community. We're really, really grateful to be nominated and really pleased to be able to have this opportunity to share our story.
Well, I feel like it's a company that needs no introduction because you've always been there or thereabouts at the finals. Wisr's been I think a big part of the fintech community. But for those who aren't aware, what's the big problem that Wisr solves?
Yeah, so we're a genuine purpose-led company, and we're trying to help people with financial wellness. And we feel it's such an important problem to try to tackle in the world because it's a leading cause of stress for Australians. And it's also a really big problem for people all over the world, whether you're an OECD country or, rapidly developing economy. It's a really important societal problem that so many people experience. And we think that financial services has such an incredible opportunity to become a more service-oriented, more kind-hearted, more purpose-led industry. And we'd love to keep trying to push the envelope in this space and to keep trying to fulfill our purpose. We're sort of, never achieve it, but always on the way to trying to do it. And we started with helping people really get a much better experience when it comes to getting credit and getting out of debt as well. Getting credit is such a vulnerable thing for so many people, and it's a very considered decision. No one takes out, a $30,000 loan without really kind of thinking about it and feeling the weight of that. And we recognize that, and we wanted to not only reinvent the consumer lending experience and give people much better rates and a better experience, but we also wanted to give them the reassurance that it was the right decision, that we went through the robust process to help them, feel comfortable with that and making sure they're doing the right thing, and also making sure that we're there to help them pay that debt back. Because debt can be a major stressor for people. For a long time, a huge loan category for us was debt consolidation to help people get out of cumulative, compounding, high interest rate debt.
Yeah.
And I think, our ethos is just very much about understanding that credit is a vulnerable, tender thing. It should be something that people are supported through. And if we can do it in a different way, if we can make that experience more emotionally supportive, as well as smarter and fairer, as well as helping people get out of debt, then we're doing something special. And I think we're the only loan provider in Australia that is really focused in this way and with this kind of complete offering. And we do that because we're a purpose-led company.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but Anthony Nance, CEO of Wisr, was actually the very first person to appear on my podcast way back in 2019.
Oh, no! Oh, my gosh, what an honor.
Cool story. So I rocked up at the Wisr offices. It was New Year. It was actually Halloween. And I was greeted at reception by Anthony dressed as Darth Vader.
Oh, Amazing.
Yeah, but look, it's kind of great to share that story because, Wisr was humble beginnings back then. And I wondered if you could share with us kind of where Wisr's at now in terms of number of people that you've got, number of customers, and what kind of growth you've seen in the last 12 months, Lili.
Yeah, our team just continues to grow and grow as our business grows. We've had now, I think, 23 consecutive quarters of growth. Wow. And just recently, we surpassed $1 billion in loan originations. We've been around for a bit over 4 years, and it's just been an incredible journey. And I think, a lot of, we share this honor with a lot of startups where, you've achieved a lot of growth. But I think the way we've done it and being purpose-led and sticking to our values and the way we've done it with our teams and maintaining and evolving Wisr's culture, which we're really proud of and which I think is actually the secret sauce to being a purpose-led company. That's kind of what's been a fantastic ride over the last year even. And so I think, from a business perspective, we've achieved a second consecutive quarter of positive operating cash flow. Obviously, our revenue's growing along with the loan book. And I think, we've recently gotten bigger funders. We were backed by NAB, but now we're also backed by one of the largest global providers of investment, IFM investors. So as of this year as well. So I think, we've had a lot of recognition of our approach. Last year, Moody's, one of the largest global credit rating agencies, awarded us a AAA rating for our inaugural, securitization deal. And I think that shows how prime the loan book is and how we're careful about making sure that we're not doing the wrong thing by people and making sure people can afford the credit that we give them and at great rates and with an amazing experience and help to pay it back. And I just think there's growth, right? Which is really fantastic. And, we hope that for every startup in this space, but I think there's also conscious growth, and we're trying to be a conscious capitalist company. And we're trying to make sure that what we do is in line with our purpose and values. So that's really what we're proud of in the last year, that we've been achieving that, but in this particular way.
Yeah, it sounds like a real paradox that you've got there. How have you managed to kind of, tread that line between being purpose-led and doing the right thing by your customers, but also being profitable? Because I think we kind of all know, the Royal Commission brought out a lot of, kind of challenges with any model, where you're looking to make profit. How's Wisr gone about doing that, Lili?
I think it's a really good question. And it's a question that's not only aimed at Wisr, but it's aimed at capitalism generally.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Which is, and I kind of think it's a little bit of a story that we've been telling ourselves since kind of the Milton Friedman times of macroeconomics, that profit is against, consumer interests, which I actually don't think is true. And that's not what the empirical evidence says either. We know that purpose-led companies create double the long-term total shareholder return that non-purpose-led companies do. And that's because over the long term, when you align your business model and your interests to the customers, you get more customers, you get more happy customers. And so I actually don't think there is that trade-off. I think the evidence shows there isn't that trade-off. There are trade-offs when you shift the timeline, right? Sometimes there's a trade-off, this quarter or something very short term, but not in a deep, long-term kind of way, I would say. So I think at the short term, you manage your business just like every other business and think about operational efficiency and leverage and all of that. But I think it's easier for us in a way because we're guided by our values. When we make those decisions, like we have the values in mind, we know what we're about, we know what we'll do, won't do. And in a way, it makes it easier. It makes it easier because you don't have to make those trade-offs like in mind every day because you know where it's going to land.
Now, one of probably the biggest challenge that's facing any business that's looking to grow is talent. Not only kind of hiring, and it's compounded, I think, in fintech because not only are you looking for people who've got kind of startup experience, but they also have to know what it's like to operate in a highly regulated environment where, unlike Facebook, you can't move fast and break things. how has Wisr gone about attracting the right talent for a fintech, and where you at now in terms of your kind of numbers of people?
Yeah, so I think hiring is top of mind for everybody, especially for a company that's growing as fast as we are. And it is a tough market out there, and which is a good thing. We don't want to hire people who don't have options, right? So I think it's fantastic that it's competitive out there. I think what people come to Wisr for is exactly that, it's purpose led. We have a unique culture, and a lot of our roles actually come from referrals from our own staff. So we've got a referral bonus in place, and inviting people's friends in, we know they're going to be a great cultural fit too. And we know they actually know what the company is about because they've got an insider view. So internal hires are a really big source. We also place a huge emphasis on lateral moves, retaining our talent, making sure that, people aren't just seen as with the job that they do today, but for their potential. And, they could do all different things inside the company. And I think, this year we won the AFR #1 award for diversity and inclusion practice, which I was so proud of. And it was an amazing moment, and I think it reflects just lots of things we do. For example, job ads are run through a bias filter, and we make sure we have a diverse set of applicants. Every candidate follows the same interview process. And it isn't just like, do we like you for cultural fit, but it's like a job test that's objective. I think we also don't ask questions like, what was your last or your current salary? Because that's been proven to keep lower income earning demographics earning those salaries not fair. So we don't do stuff like that. And I think when people do come check us out, what they're attracted to is the idea of creating a positive impact with their time. People care about learning and development, being able to have a great experience. People care about being seen and having a sense of belonging, and people care about making a difference with their time. So I think those are the things that we really think about. Part of it is through how we recruit, but very much of it is really about how we build the culture internally so that is authentic. So whoever it is that they're talking to inside the company and thinking about whether or not to join Wisr, they're going to hear the authentic story. It's not a sell, but it's kind of like, what's every day like inside Wisr. And I think we've got all the kind of things that I think progressive companies have, like lots of mental health support, and we use Uprise for our EAP. We've got 6 free kind of therapy / coaching sessions a year for people. We've got annual wellness reimbursements. We have really phenomenal learning platforms, and we really encourage people to use those. Like we've got learning leaderboards where, as in some companies you can imagine, if someone takes a lot of time out of their week to be learning on their own, it may be seen as, maybe you're not doing your job. But it's kind of the opposite at Wisr. Like in our town halls, we've got all our learning stories, and we have a leaderboard where it's like, if you're engaging in self-development, and that could be, anything, could be film editing, it could be gardening, could be anything that, our learning platform Udemy kind of teaches, which is a whole bunch of different things in life, whatever you're interested. If you're pursuing that, like we love that, right? Because we just know that you're a learning creature, and you're going to bring all of that goodness and creativity back to Wisr. And so I think the way we kind of try to make the employee experience inside Wisr special and focused on the emotional development of the person, and creating a feeling of growth and belonging, that's the thing that I think actually secretly sells, if anything.
Yeah. And look, that was kind of, I go back to that first podcast interview with Anthony, and I just remember walking into reception, and there were kind of wooden pallets that had Polaroid pictures, and there was about 49 people on there, and it was all the staff. And then we walked upstairs, and there was the kind of call center and ops, and the whole place was just a really great vibe. You could just feel the kind of good energy in the place, and the culture. You could just feel it as you walked in there. now that we're working remotely, it's very difficult to kind of replicate that. It's a bit like I say this a lot, but the Rolling Stones, would they be the Rolling Stones if they just kind of, all dialed in on Zoom and jammed together, or was it them being in that studio together and really enjoying being there together that they created, this kind of bond and magic between them?
Yeah, I know. It's, there's some things gained and some things lost with every change, like the shift to more remote work. But I think, we're really thinking about how do you cater to people who do want to come in more, make sure that office vibe and that community is there. But how do you also achieve that in a remote way? And there's lots of levers, that we've practiced over all the various lockdowns, and the pandemic was a real just throw yourself in boiling water and just figure out what to do situation. And I think there was a lot that we experimented with, and I think we've been really, really successful. But there's a lot more work to do in terms of how to keep that remote culture balanced and going. And I think we focus on making sure that if you're coming in like team days, that there is there's work happening to make sure that there are activities that bring people together and that create belonging. So that's very important. And there's lots of offline activities and sending things to people's homes and playing games online, and just lots of different ways of engaging and building connections, like virtual coffee talks and things that aren't just about work. It's kind of, how do you replicate that water cooler connection, and that talking about your kids and the trip that you did and what happened on the weekend, and all the challenges that are outside of work, making space for that remotely, and making sure that leaders lead that. We've got like weekly yoga over Zoom, care packs that we send to homes, coffee talks. Like if there are team events, we might do funny things. Like if someone can't come in for a team event, then, we'll print out a big photo of them and make sure they're in the picture, and just, like lots of little different ways. I think you have to constantly experiment. And also, EQ means you're catering it to the individual as well. Yeah. What do they need to feel like they belong, and to feel like even if they're not seeing every day, that they really matter and their work matters. And we are a team doing it together to get there.
Now we're coming to a close, Lili. You'll get your opportunity to kind of pitch why people should vote for Wisr.
I think we've really passed a huge milestone. We've served over 600,000 Australians on our financial wellness platform. We've given over $1 billion of fair, smart credit out, and we've helped Aussies pay off a ton of money. They use our Roundup app to pay off their debt, and we've paid off millions and millions, and a huge chunk of our customers pay off their loan early. And that's something we're so proud of. People regularly make prepayments, and I think we've done it all through building an incredible place to work with a real focus on building a unique purpose-led company. And our hope is not just to positively impact the financial wellness and the lives of our customers and our employees, but to have a positive ripple effect through the industry by really just knowing what we're about, and hopefully inspiring more fintechs and people in the industry and anywhere really through these conversations, and through the focus on values, emotions, and humanity.
Awesome. Well, good luck to everybody at Wisr in the finals, Lili.
Thank you for giving me the time to share Wisr's story.
The People's Choice Award is brought to you by Tier 1 People, leaders in fintech executive search. We'll help you launch, scale, and innovate by finding world-class people.